The first time I saw her, she was dangling from the side of the shuttle bay like a specter in the void. Sparks flew from the damaged hull around her as the station's emergency lights flickered in a cold, staccato rhythm. I had been on routine maintenance rounds aboard the orbital research station Ethris 9, checking the external conduits, when the warning sirens blared. Through the viewport, I saw her, her silver suit scorched in places, tether lines shredded. Without a second thought, I launched the emergency EVA pod. "Hold on," I shouted into my comms, but the vacuum swallowed my words. She didn't flinch, even as a jagged piece of debris spun past her like a comet. The moment I reached her, my gloved hands locked onto hers, and we tumbled together back into the airlock. The hiss of repressurization was deafening, but for the first time in hours, I could breathe again. Her eyes met mine, violet, unearthly, and full of something I couldn't name. Fear? Relief? Maybe both. I had thought saving her was enough, that pulling her from the void made me a hero. But heroes seldom know the cost until the quiet afterward. Chapter 1. The Arrival. When she stumbled into the med bay, I followed closely. Her suit was torn, her body weak from exposure to the station's outer vacuum. The medbot hummed softly as it administered emergency nanogel patches, sealing burns and stabilizing her vitals. "I'm fine," she said, but her voice was melodic, almost musical. Not human, though close enough to fool any untrained ear. She struggled to rise from the med bed, and I grabbed her wrist gently. "You're not," I said. "You almost died out there." She laughed softly, a sound like wind through glass. "Almost isn't enough for you, is it?" I frowned, uncertain. "Who are you? How did you get out there? And why didn't you respond to hails?" She turned her gaze toward the viewport, where the stars glittered like scattered diamonds. "I'm not from here," she said. Simple, direct. But the way she said it made the words feel heavier than the metal hull around us. I shook my head. "Not from here? Ethris 9 is a human station. Everyone who boards." "I know what it looks like," she interrupted, "but appearances lie." Chapter 2. The Truth in Pieces. Over the next few days, I tried to piece her story together. Her name, she said, was Lyra, though she seemed reluctant to confirm even that. She spoke in fragments. Her home world was distant, her people advanced beyond our comprehension, and she had been on a mission here, one she refused to explain fully. The more I learned, the more questions piled up. Sensors indicated she had manipulated the station's AI to bypass security protocols, a move that should have triggered alerts. Yet she claimed no ill intent, only that she needed help to repair her vessel. I couldn't reconcile the stories. The station crew whispered rumors: alien spy, rogue AI, interstellar fugitive. I ignored them, focusing on the truth I could see. She was alive because I had acted, because I had reached her before the void did. And maybe I thought I could trust her. Chapter 3. A Fragile Alliance. By the fourth day, Lyra began working with me in the docking bay. The vessel she had arrived in was like nothing I had seen, organic in design, metal flowing like liquid silver. The repairs were delicate, requiring both human ingenuity and something I couldn't name, a biosynchronic interface that responded to her touch. While we worked, she opened up in small ways. She laughed when I misread a schematic, smiled when a circuit lit up correctly, and occasionally glanced at me as if weighing whether I was a threat. "You saved me," she said one evening as we watched Earth rotate below the station. "Do you understand what that means?" I shook my head. "I think so. You were in danger. I pulled you out." "No," she said softly. "It's more than that. My entire mission depended on survival. And now you've interfered. For better or worse." Her words unsettled me. For the first time, I felt the weight of my actions, not just as a human, but as someone who had unknowingly altered an alien calculus of fate. Chapter 4: Shadows in the Hull. Late one night, alarms shattered the quiet. I raced to the observation deck, where red lights painted everything in a surreal crimson. The sensors were jammed, and the station's AI gave fragmented warnings. "Someone's boarding," I whispered, my pulse quickening. Lyra appeared beside me, her eyes narrowing. "They know I'm here," she said, "and they won't leave until they get what I brought." I wanted to ask what she meant, but a shadow moved along the docking ring. Another ship, smaller, more predatory. Drones erupted from its hull, swarming toward Etheris. 9. We fought side by side. I handled the automated defense turrets, while she maneuvered her hands over the airlock controls, bending the station's systems to her will. Together, we repelled the first wave, but the drones kept coming, relentless and intelligent. Finally, in a tense silence between waves, she looked at me. "I didn't ask you to do this." And now, her gaze faltered. "Now I have to tell you the truth." Chapter 5: The Truth Revealed. I braced myself, heart pounding. "My people, we are explorers, yes, but also guardians of knowledge," Lyra began, her voice trembling. "We travel across galaxies, observing civilizations that reach a certain level of technological maturity. Your species, humans, are young, volatile, yet full of potential. I was sent here not just to repair my vessel, but to evaluate humanity's readiness." I stared. "Evaluate us? You mean like a test?" "Yes," she admitted. "Everything that happened, the station alarms, the sabotage, even the debris field, it was part of the assessment. I did not expect you to intervene, to act without instruction." "And now," she hesitated. "Now what?" I asked. "Now you have passed," she said. "By saving me, you've demonstrated qualities we look for: courage, selflessness, and resilience. But there is another truth, one I cannot hide any longer." I felt a chill. "What truth?" She closed her eyes. "I am not entirely what I appear to be. My form, my voice, even my emotions are partly synthesized. A projection designed to interact with species like yours. The Lyra you saved is a construct. The real entity, the consciousness guiding this projection, is aboard this vessel, monitoring, learning, recording every choice you made." I staggered back, struggling to process the revelation. "You're saying I saved a hologram?" Lyra shook her head. "Not a hologram. An extension of a mind. Alien, yes, but sentient. You saved a part of her, a piece of consciousness designed to test you. What you feel, what you think about me, it is real. But it is also controlled, calculated." The station seemed to grow colder, darker. I realized that everything I had believed, the thrill of rescue, the bond forming between us, was now filtered through the lens of her species' observation. Yet, despite this, I couldn't deny one thing: I cared. And perhaps that mattered more than the mechanics behind it. Chapter 6: Choices and Consequences. Lyra's vessel hummed, ready to depart. The drones had retreated after recognizing the station's defenses, leaving only silence and tension. She turned to me, her eyes, synthetic though they were, filled with something that resembled regret. "I must leave," she said. "The mission continues. But know this, your actions will influence how my people interact with humanity in the future. The galaxy watches now because of you." I swallowed hard. "Will I see you again?" She smiled faintly. "Perhaps. But you must understand, what you experienced here cannot be repeated. The circumstances, they were unique. What you felt and what you did, it is yours to carry." Her hand hovered near mine, almost touching. A spark of warmth passed through me, A reminder that even constructs, projections, and synthetic consciousness could stir real emotion. Then, with a soft flash of silver, she entered her vessel. The airlock closed, and the engines roared. Within moments, she was gone, leaving me alone on the station, staring out at the infinite stars. Chapter 7: Aftermath. Days passed. The station returned to normal operations, the crew whispering about what had happened, speculating endlessly about the mysterious visitor. I walked the corridors, haunted by her absence, the memory of her voice, the truth she had revealed. Sometimes, I thought I could still hear her, faintly, in the hum of the station's engines. I wondered if the Lyra I saved, the projection, was truly gone, or if some part of her lingered, embedded in my actions, in my thoughts. I realized, finally, that saving her had changed me. Not because she was an alien, or because the mission was secret, but because I had faced the unknown, made a choice, and acted without hesitation. Humanity had passed its first test in ways I could never have anticipated. And perhaps somewhere among the stars, Lyra, real or projection, was watching, waiting, and hoping I would continue to rise to the challenge. Epilogue: The Echo of Truth. Months later, I received a transmission. No signature, no origin coordinates, just a simple message embedded in the station's encrypted logs. You did not save me. You saved yourself. I stared at the words. A shiver ran down my spine. It wasn't a message of triumph or failure, only truth. Somehow, in saving her, I had confronted my own limits, my own courage, and discovered something I didn't know I possessed. I walked to the viewport, looking out at the stars, and smiled faintly. Somewhere out there, Lyra's mind, whether real, synthetic, or both, was alive. And I knew one thing with certainty: the universe had grown infinitely larger and infinitely stranger because of that one choice. I had thought I saved her, but in the end, she had saved me.